So how can you go about removing that bankruptcy that's showing up on your credit report? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video, so stay tuned. Now, depending on the type of bankruptcy that you filed, it can last up to 7 to 10 years on your credit report. And nobody really has the time for that, right? There's a lot of things. Think about how much your life has changed in the last 7 to 10 years. So I'm going to be breaking down a technique that you can actually use to be able to help you get these accounts removed. Now, one thing I want to touch on here at the beginning is that the old method does not work anymore. Back in the day, they used to tell you, hey, you could send a letter to the courthouse. Once you send a letter to the courthouse would basically tell you, no, we didn't send any information to the credit bureaus and we don't do that, yada, yada, yada. And what you would do is you would take that letter and send another letter with that, with a copy of what you heard from the courthouse. You would send that to the credit bureaus, and the credit bureaus would then remove your bankruptcy. But that does not work anymore. Now the credit bureaus have pretty much explicitly stated that they don't get their information from a courthouse. What happens is another company's pretty much sifting through all court documents and then putting it onto their website and consolidating all the information. And then the credit bureaus are paying that company to basically, sort of like an API access type of thing, where they're able to pull information on you specifically from this third-party reporting company and then use it to add to your credit report. So that's where they're getting the bankruptcy information. They get information about the bankruptcy, about any accounts that were linked to the bankruptcy, and everything like that. So we're going to touch on the actual third-party source and how you can actually be able to get them to remove the bankruptcy for you straight from the credit bureaus. But first, let's touch on where the bankruptcy information is in general, right? It's not a situation where you need to go to the courthouse, actually walk into the courthouse and ask them for your information related to the bankruptcy. It's all online nowadays. There's something called the PACER system, and the PACER system stands for Public Access to Courts Electronic Records, okay? Now, this is publicly accessible to anybody. You could even go yourself and check out information on anybody that you want. Now, what you want to do is you want to go here and access your public court filings, okay? So you go on there, you search your name and pull up your bankruptcy information. And what you want to do is you want to download all the information that they have on you regarding that bankruptcy that you went through. Okay. The reason being is we want to see, everything that the court's saying, and we're going to leverage that information to be able to get deletions based off of any type of errors or mistakes that we're seeing. Now, once you've gotten that information and you were able to download everything, you got to print it out. Next, what you want to do is you want to go to a website called Lexis Nexis. Now, I'm going to link to all these websites down below in the description so you can check it out here. Don't feel like you got to, try to follow along immediately. You can watch this entire video, and then I'll have the links down below where you can then go step by step. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go to Lexis Nexis. Lexis Nexis is pretty much another reporting agency, right? They're not like the 3 credit bureaus, but they are pretty much doing the same thing. They're aggregating all information on everybody that they can find online, and they can find through all these different sources, and then people just pay them to access that information, literally just like the credit bureaus. Now, what you're going to do on their website is you are entitled to get a free report, right? Or you can think like credit report, but just think it's basically they have a report on you, like they have a file on you, and you're by law able to request that information and get that information from them. Okay, so that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to reach out to them. I'm going to put a link down below, and you're going to be able to have them pretty much mail you their entire file on you. Okay, and that'll include your bankruptcy. You'll see how much information they have on you. They could have things like, for example, your insurance information, past addresses, date of birth. They'll have all types of information, things that you maybe had never really thought of that you're going to find on there. Now, next, what you want to do is once you have that information, next you want to reach back out to to Lexis Nexis, and you want to ask them to verify that the information is correct. The reason why I say verify is because this is kind of how you're setting them up, right? You're gonna treat them just like you would the credit bureaus. And I'll link to a letter down below that you guys can use, as well as I also link to, I have over 100 letters that I give out for pretty much the price of a cup of coffee. So I'll link to that down below. You can check that down as well. But what you want to do is you want to send the verify letter, and the letter is pretty much just asking them, hey, can you make sure everything's showing up accurately, right? And this is you're pretty much setting them up that way. Once they say that everything's accurate, all you have to do is find one mistake, and boom, you've got them, right? They now are forced to either admit that they're breaking the law or remove the bankruptcy. Here's how it's gonna work. So once they send you a letter, they're gonna send you a letter back basically saying like everything's been verified. Next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start comparing the Lexis Nexis information with the information you found on the PACER system, right? The actual court bankruptcy information, okay? And you really just need to find pretty much one little mistake. Now, the thing is, depending on what type of bankruptcy it is and where it's done, so on and so forth, at times at Lexis Nexis, they got to have somebody physically type that information in. And that's where it can be a game changer, because someone mistypes an information. They say that, oh, for example, they include a bankruptcy account that, or they include an account in your bankruptcy that wasn't included, or they don't include all the bankruptcy information, right? Those kind of things, that's what can lead to you being able to get the bankruptcy removed, right? They have to make sure that everything is 100% accurate, right? Even the amounts, for example, if you're able to find an amount that's shown up incorrectly, that can be something that you're able to dispute, okay? So you want to look for any mistakes that you can find, and I would recommend you either highlight them or you writing down all the different mistakes, right? Because this is what you're going to leverage to be able to get the account removed. Now, next, what you're going to do is once you find those mistakes, you're going to go send another letter to Lexis Nexis, and this time you're going to be pointing out, you're going to write a letter kind of pointing out some of the mistakes that you found and telling them, basically saying, hey, you know, you said everything was accurate and verifiable. Here's proof right now that I found that the information that you're telling me that was accurate actually isn't accurate, right? There's a bunch of incorrect information on here, right? And you're going to send that letter to them. Once they receive that, they're going to be forced to delete the account, right? And that's where you're winning. Once they actually delete that account from your Lexis Nexis report, everything else is going to be pretty much easy selling at that point. Because what you're going to do next is you're just going to go over to the credit bureaus. You're going to send them that same verified letter saying, hey, can you verify that this bankruptcy is showing up accurate? What's going to happen is when they go to verify the bankruptcy, Lexis Nexis isn't going to have the bankruptcy anymore, right? They're going to say, hey, can you check this? They're going to say, hey, can you confirm that you sent us all the correct information for that bankruptcy? Lexis Nexis is going to have to say, we don't have that bankruptcy anymore. We had to remove it. So that's going to force the credit bureaus to remove it too, because now their data source isn't reporting it anymore. So they have no way to get that information, right? And just like that, you're able to get the bankruptcy removed, okay? Now, this is an update. I've shot this video, a video like this before, right? I didn't go as much in depth, but I shot pretty much a similar video like this. And I had a lot of people talk about how they were able to have success with this, okay? So this is something that it works, guys. It works. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Also, I'm going to link below to some free letters that you can use to help you with not just with your bankruptcy, but if you have collection accounts, if you have you know, debt collectors that you're dealing with, any of the other types of you know, negative accounts that you might be dealing with. I'm going to link to some free letters down below, as well as my program, the Smart Credit Blueprint, that you can check out as well. All right. So that's going to be pretty much it for this video, guys. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.